Hey, badass listeners. Today, I'm not fine, and I'm not going to fix that in the next 15 minutes or however long we have together. But I wanted to show up honestly and authentically and just let you know what was going on. You know, we talk about the word fine, and when somebody asks us, how you doing? And you go, fine, I'm fine. What exactly does that mean? So the idea behind today's podcast was that I was going to record something light and sunny to go along with the start of summer and the fact that I'm leaving for vacation tomorrow night. And then everything went sideways today. I had my laundry list of things that I wanted to accomplish before before I left. And as always, I don't know why, but I feel like I have to do 8,000 projects before I leave for vacation, which, to be honest, is not a good plan. So that already starts out kind of on a funky note. And then, yeah, it's just kind of been one thing after another. I decided to vacuum the house while I was doing some projects in my office. And the automatic Roomba kept getting stuck in the same fucking corner of the living room after I told it repeatedly not to keep going back to that corner. So I would pick it up and move it. And then 2 minutes later, I'd get back in my office and I'm sitting down and I hear boop, boop, which means that Roomba is not happy because Roomba got himself into another bad spot. It's the same bad spot he was in 5 minutes ago. Okay, so that's the Roomba thing. And then I had gotten a jury summons last week, or no, actually it was back in June, and I politely declined, which apparently that's not a good enough answer for them. But I also told them that I was going to be out of town for the preliminary summons and then, whatever. So they said, sorry, that's not a good enough excuse. By the way, we've assigned you to a court and you are going to be part of this jury for this trial. I'm not supposed to say what it's about, but it's not a good thing. And so it said, sorry, you can't postpone it. You can't get out of it, all of this stuff, and fill out this questionnaire. So then I had to fill out the questionnaire. And finally, the last few pages of the last question on after 4 pages of answering all of their other questions, which I tried to make myself sound as unappealing as possible as a juror. I said, hey, here's the thing. I'm not going to be here. I cannot start when the trial starts because I will be on an airplane. So that was another thing that I had to deal with today. So now everything, the good things I was supposed to do before I left are now getting pushed aside. And then, of course, there was Roomba. And then I get a notice that my mortgage payment was not working. And I'm like, but I transferred the money. What happened? Apparently, the request for the money came in before the transfer was completed. So that's a whole other shit show. To quote my friend Libby Bunton, I will put her episode link in here. Right now, I feel like a freight train of crazy. So there you have it. And that's how I'm showing up today. I'm talking straight with you. And the thing is, I'm overloaded right now. And, I'm not falling apart. I'm just overloaded. And when that happens, your nervous system gets out of whack. And so I had a conversation with my friend Liz, who is a nervous system, regulate your nervous system coach. And her words came back to me and it said, rather than trying to find a way around or a way through, ask yourself these questions. What am I supposed to understand from this scenario? or this situation? What is this here to teach me? Take a minute and say, what am I supposed to learn from all of this? From the Roomba and from the jury duty and from the financial glitch and a myriad of other things that I haven't even talked about. But, as midlife women, we're supposed to like keep everything all together. And sometimes we just can't. I hear you. I feel you. As you're listening to the words coming out of my mouth, you're thinking, oh my God, she's talking to me. Now, this is just my own personal stuff. I know a lot of you out there have aging parents and or children and a family that you're dealing with as well. So you've got everybody else's shit that you are taking on. So I'm just taking a deep breath. And I've been working on trying to find my equanimity and trying to find my curiosity around why everything is coming together as it's coming together. Fine versus not fine. And here's the thing, both things can be true at the same time. You can be okay and not okay. You can be fine and not fine at the same time. And that's just what happens. Now, I know a lot of this is pressure that I've put on myself pre-vacation to get a lot of things done and make sure that I have all the boxes checked and all the T's crossed and all the I's dotted so that when I go on vacation, I can just enjoy myself, which I will be doing anyway. But there's the pressure to, leave the house clean, the bills paid, the inbox handled, the laundry done, the pets sorted, and every other loose end tied up, in a rainbow colored bow. Well, that's not going to happen, and it's just going to be what it's going to be. So I'm taking a deep breath. Once we get in that anxiety spiral and our nervous system gets out of control, everything's going to stress you out and you're going to react before you have a minute to even think about it. Your scarcity monkey mind says you're screwed, but you're really not. And here's how I break that cycle. I like to do a couple of things. One thing is a 5 senses, sort of a meditation. 5 things that you can see, 4 things that you can hear, 3 things that you can taste, 2 things that you can touch. And so if you use all of your senses and you're asking your senses to do other things and to look at other things, hear other things, smell other things, taste other things, that is a really good distraction to get your mind back into, okay, I don't have to freak out kind of a mode. That's one good tip. I really love the 5 senses, and it's really beautiful to do it outside because there's so many other things to pull your attention away from your crazy train. And then you can calm your nervous system a bit and get curious about what's happening and why it's happening. I also visit my horse. I walk out into the pasture with him and he looks up at me and he says, "Hey, how you doing today?" And when he asks me that question, I say I'm fine. Because when I'm with him and when I'm out there and when I'm observing his life and the way that he, as a horse, goes through life, I do feel fine. I remember all of those things. I start sensing things in my body that I say, oh, okay, what does that feeling mean? Where did that come from? Why am I feeling that right now? And sometimes I either just sit in the pasture or I go up and I lean on him while he's grazing. And he doesn't mind it. He just hangs out. He'll pick up his head, he'll turn around and look at me. And, you know, I just feel like when I'm in that space with him, There's no explanations needed. There's no apologies. There's no emotional overfunctioning. There's no requirement to be a certain way. So I think, what would it look like if I stopped managing my emotional state for everybody else? It would look like the horse. It would look like my pal Moose, just hanging out in the pasture, taking in information and processing it as it comes, and then letting it go, knowing that you've absorbed it, you've assessed, is it an immediate danger, or is it something that can wait? Or go outside, take a walk without your headphones, without your phone, walk somewhere where you won't be bombarded by other sensory input. Look at the sky, look at the trees, take a deep breath and say, wow, this is amazing. I'm outside today. It is a beautiful day. It's sunny. The sky is blue. And I'm taking a walk and I'm breathing fresh air. And it's a good reality check that there is enough in my life. So when someone asks you if you're fine or how you are, you don't owe anyone a tidy resolution. Not today, not ever, and neither do I. And I want to say thank you for listening and for being here with me, just as I am today, as I'm showing up, because that's what this is all about. That's why I have this podcast, is that I want not only for my guests to show up with authenticity, but I want to show up to you, my audience, when maybe I'm not my best self. And that's okay. If you are playing along going, holy shit, she is singing my song, that's also great. So that's really all I wanted to share with you today. It's a little bit of a rant. It's a little bit of ADHD all over the place. It's a freight train of crazy. Thank you, Libby, for that. But it's where I'm at today. So I will be thinking about all of you, each and every one, and hoping that you're fine, whatever that means to you. All right. This is Sue Willoughby signing off from Midlife Strategies for Badass Women. If you have any tips or tricks that you would like to share with other listeners, that would be fantastic, because everybody needs a new tool on how to cope with stress and anxiety and a little bit of freight train crazy. All right, my friends, I will see you next week on Midlife Strategies for Badass Women.